What about the outgoings at United? Alejandro Garnacho's future remains unclear. We'll tell you which Premier League club wants him. Let's get the story of Chelsea's pursuit of the midfielder. Rob Jones is at Stamford Bridge and can bring us the very latest. Hi, Rob. Are Chelsea confident they'll get the player?
They're confident they'll get the player and also confident they will get him underneath and quite a decent chunk underneath that £50 million mark that Dan was just speaking about. And because of some of the things that he's just alluded to whilst talking about Alejandro Garnacho, and in particular the fact that Ruben Amorim has made it very clear that he's not part of Manchester United's plans moving forward, you'd say that that is a decent thing that Chelsea are able to bargain with, that they can be quite relaxed about this and leave it later and later into the window, because they will know that Manchester United have a player that they want to get off their books. They don't want to keep paying his wages. So the closer that Chelsea can leave it until that September the 1st deadline, the further down from £50 million you would think that they might be able to buy him for. Xavi Simons is another player on the Chelsea wish list. You would say that one isn't particularly imminent either. He's part of an RB Leipzig squad that are playing Lens in a pre-season friendly tomorrow. But on the other side, Chelsea also need to make sales. You might remember at the start of last month, fined just over €30 million by UEFA for failing to comply with their rules, with the threat of a further potential €60 million fine if they don't sell players. And there is a lot of fat, you would say, that is there to be trimmed for Chelsea. As Michael just said, one of the players that's just been confirmed as leaving is Armando Broja off to Burnley, and there are others that spent parts or all of last season on loan that you would think are happily Chelsea will let go, the likes of Ben Chilwell, Raheem Sterling, Axel Disasi, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall has gone to Everton earlier this week as well. So there's a bit of work for Chelsea to do for outgoings as well as the couple that they're looking to bring in.
Yeah, are they going to have to bring in more than a couple now that Levi Colwill is injured and going to be injured for some time?
Well, we understand that that's not Chelsea's thinking at the moment, and it is one area where they're blessed with a decent number of options at centre-half. He did say yesterday just how difficult it will be, Enzo Maresca, to replace Levi Colwill, someone who played 35 Premier League games for the club last season. They do have Wesley Fofana coming back. Enzo Maresca has confirmed he won't play in either of the pre-season friendlies, AC Milan, but he might be available for the first league game against Crystal Palace next week. He's only played 2 games for Chelsea in 2025, and his whole time actually since arriving from Leicester has been blighted by injury, so he's an option. He spoke about one of the other summer signings, Jarell Hato, yesterday, and saying he's more mature than his age, only 19 but more than 100 first team appearances for him. There is Benoit Badiashile, there's Tosin as well. You can play Marc Cucurella as a centre back should you need to, so there are options in that part of the field for Enzo Maresca, albeit he has lost a big player in Levi Colwill. And the big question, I guess, for that game against Palace and moving forward is what sort of shape Chelsea will be in. They've only had 3 weeks off since becoming world champions in America, and this return to training, which has seen Colwill get injured, we will see how they start the Premier League season. And I actually think what will be even more interesting is later on in the campaign how those Chelsea legs hold up, particularly with the return to Champions League football just around the corner as well.
Indeed. Rob Jones, live from Stamford Bridge. Thank you, Rob.
Alejandro Garnacho is one of the big names United are looking to move on, and Chelsea wants him. We'll be discussing that and much more. Let's talk about Garnacho, because there have been developments, haven't there?
There have been developments. One thing we've known all summer is that Chelsea like the player, but Manchester United want £50 million to sell Alejandro Garnacho this summer. It's not as if they don't think he's a good player. It's just, it looks like he needs to move on in terms of maybe the relationship he's got with Ruben Amorim. He was very unhappy with his Europa League final snub. He's made that very public. But the key from Chelsea's point of view, they think they can sign Garnacho for less than Manchester United's asking price. But there hasn't been a bid yet. And going back to Manchester United's side, he's got 3 years remaining on his contract at United. You feel that this probably will get done, but for what price, we'll have to wait and see.
Chelsea's pursuit of Alejandro Garnacho, they are looking to make a number of sales in this transfer window as well. Now, the man behind us here, Nicholas Jackson, lots of talk about Nicholas Jackson in this transfer window. He has now told Chelsea that he wants to explore his options outside of Chelsea. So he wants to look at other clubs and whether there is interest in him, of which there is a lot. Chelsea are playing Bayer Leverkusen as we speak in a pre-season friendly. It kicked off at 7 o'clock. The team news was interesting, and it is clear that Nicholas Jackson is not part of the plans either from the Chelsea end, because Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, both not in the matchday squad. They are two of a number of players that Chelsea are looking to consider offers for, and they have had a lot of inquiries, unsurprisingly, for Nicholas Jackson. Bayern Munich, Juventus, AC Milan have all explored the conditions of a deal. Newcastle are just keeping an eye on his situation. He would be a good signing for anyone who could get him, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and then Chelsea have to hurry up. He's only got 8 years left on his contract. Look, this is the model Chelsea have done, and it's working for Chelsea. They've had a great few months, so it's an interesting one because Chelsea have a lot of games next season. Of course, they're back in the Champions League. They've gone from Conference League to Champions League. They see themselves as a Champions League club, rightly so. They've just won the World Club Cup, and they'll value him highly. So, I think that will go on for quite a bit of time, Nicholas Jackson, because he's got interest, as you've said. Yeah,
the game time's limited, isn't it? Because of the signings that they've made in this window.
Yeah, but, is João Pedro an out-and-out striker? How long will it take Liam Delap? Do you expect Liam Delap to play Saturday, Tuesday in the Champions League, Sunday, Wednesday? I think he'll still play at Chelsea, but does he have that feeling now, like, I don't feel like we know what strikers are like. They all like to feel like the number one, and he probably feels like a number 3 at the moment.
That's a really good point. So Chelsea, as well as these players who they're trying to bring in, we've talked so much about these departures. It's going to be so important because Enzo Maresca's always said he wants to work with that squad that is going to be available to him every week. He doesn't want the adjoining pitch having another 10 or 15 players that he doesn't want involved in the squad, is he?
I really enjoyed listening to Enzo Maresca last season, and he was quite ruthless. He did it a year ago with Raheem Sterling. Players have moved on. He bought Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, didn't work out, and he's sort of worked out the players who are ahead of him, but he's still got a good move to Everton. They still got good money, and Chelsea sell well, and I expect them to sell well again if Nicholas Jackson does leave.
Yeah, so Nicholas Jackson